Good job, man.
You know what? You're about to be kicked out of court.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Calling the case of the students of High Tech High Media Arts versus Christopher Deltrice Columbus.
We hereby accuse Christopher Deltrice Columbus of committing multiple counts of genocide, rape,
Aiding and abetting and theft. The prosecution charges Columbus with violation of the natives of the land and taking their goods and people.
Today marks the 6th day of the trial against Christopher Columbus.
Yesterday was a very eventful day in court. First, we heard from Mr. Columbus for the first time since opening statement. As everyone already knows, we had an issue yesterday towards the end of court.
The conclusion of the day was in no way, shape, or form intended to hurt or cause any offense to anyone inside of this courtroom. Not speaking from a judge's point of view, we would like to remind you that High Tech High Media Arts is a safe environment and nobody should ever be put into a situation where they feel that their bodies should be threatened or have feelings of uneasiness while in a classroom setting. That being said, we would like to try our best to maintain a safe environment while not only inside of this classroom but anywhere else in the High Tech High Village.
Once again, for the respect of everyone currently sitting in this room, please refrain from talking about the event to your peers outside of this courtroom. If you have not already done so, we give you the permission to take out your phones and delete any sort of pictures or movies pertaining to the events yesterday.
At this time, we would like to remind everyone of the courtroom rules.
From everyone sitting in this room, we require that you take notes and are not using anything distracting during a courtroom session. If you are, you run the risk of having that item confiscated and given to the administration.
The only people permitted to use computers during the court session are the jurors, the lawyers, and us judges. Computers are considered a form of distraction, and we request that you take notes the old-fashioned way, with the crazy invention of a pen and a pencil. What a concept.
Also, talking is not allowed in the courtroom from the people of the court or the jury while we are under session. If you talk, this will result in the instant removal from the courtroom by the bailiff.
The last and most important rule in this courtroom is that you must obey any order that is given by the bailiff, the judges, or Claudia. Fighting with the government-appointed bailiff or judge is not allowed under any circumstance. If you do, it could end up being removed from the courtroom for good and receiving an F. No questions asked.
Remember that we, the judges, will always do what is right by the law and will not fail to make right and just decisions.
As judges, we expect to have an articulate and fair trial from both the prosecution and the defense. We expect to have every piece of evidence used in this trial relevant and ready to be presented. From the people of the court, we expect all matters discussed to be kept inside of the courtroom doors. Also, we ask that full respect is given to both sides of the court during a court session.
We are all here to abide by the facts. We are all here to be open-minded and not to let personal bias affect our judgment. Mr. Christopher Deltrice Columbus is innocent until proven guilty in this court of law. Remember that the prosecutor plays a very important role in each and every court case.
They are attorneys who represent the federal government. Each prosecutor must always remember that he or she is a representative of the court and must behave fairly and provide justice to the country's citizens.
Before we begin, we would like to re-swear in the jury due to the jury.
Please raise your right hand.
Do each of you swear that you will fairly try this case before this court? Stay awake and promise that you will return a true verdict according to the evidence and the instructions of the court, so help you God.
Please say I do.
I do.
You may be seated. Today we will finish examining the prosecution's witness, Christopher Columbus. This will be the prosecution's last witness, and then we will move on to speaking with the defense's witnesses.
But first, we would like to begin with asking lawyer Sunny on the prosecution side why he is in a wheelchair today.
Well, it's a very sad chain of events. But after the trial yesterday, after I thought we did very good and proved Christopher Columbus guilty, a hooded man who about the same size and body type as Casey, wearing that hat, with a baseball bat, along with another woman who had a purple jacket wrapped around her face, carrying metal baseball bats, knocked in my kneecaps and one of my lungs, and broke 3 of my ribs. I'm not saying that it was these 2, but there is lots of, it is quite a coincidence that this happened.
Okay, wait on. Defense, do you have any comments on this?
You have no visual confirmation that it was my client who was wearing, his face was obscured.
It's just very coincidental.
No, we're not talking about coincidence, we're talking about fact. So you didn't see his face.
I did not see his face.
We're very
All
sorry.
right, thank you. This is a
Thank
fight.
you.
Thank you.
We would like to continue with the prosecution witnesses.
Prosecution, are you ready to bring Mr. Columbus back onto the stand?
Excuse me, I would like to say something about a piece of evidence they used yesterday. Yesterday they were quoting the Bible, and I would like to say that they are misrepresenting the evidence on that because they specifically quoted that in the Bible itself, God does not necessarily condone killing or any of the activities. And I have quotes from the Bible that actually do suggest cases of that specifically.
Do you have that pointed out?
Yeah, every single quote is represented.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, please do that.
Yes.
Okay, can they come up? And
Thank you. It does mention that someone is being killed, but it never says anything about them being people of God or anything like that. So we don't, I mean, it says,
There is a quote there specifically though that states that as punishment for defiance, God will take away your infant, and other quotes of that nature that suggest being able to rape, being able to maim, being able to capture, and
yeah.
The very first quote here, and the first page on the second quote, the third page on the second quote, the last page on this quote isn't necessarily about the ability. It's about regards to procedures when, as to punishment, as to being caught in those types of activities. And then the third quote on the third page is about acts of warfare.